Hello, my name is Aza Rose, and today I'll be your guide through this asana practice. I am a yoga teacher here in Fort Collins, Colorado, and today I'd love to be able to guide you through a sequence that I've been working on this week. So, if you're ready, let's go ahead and set up our mats. Today you will need 2 blocks for your practice. If you usually use a blanket or a bolster in your practice, you can grab those as well. But really the 2 big things that you'll need are 2 blocks. And let's go ahead and set one of those blocks up just on the back end of our mats. And why don't we start laying down? And I'll let you take a minute to get down there. But lay in whatever comfortable position there is for you. And as we get here, can we take just a couple of deep breaths to arrive on our mat and to give ourselves permission to let go of what we've been holding, whether that is the stress from work, family, day-to-day life, whether that is the things going on politically in our shitty, fucked up world, or anything else. Allow these breaths to let that stuff go, knowing that if you need it, it's still there waiting for you when you're done. But maybe we can see if we can find a little bit more balance today. So let's take 3 arriving breaths as you lay on your mat. In through our nose, inside out your mouth. Perfect. 2 more like that. In through your nose, inside out your mouth. And 1 more time. Deep breath in, full complete breath out. And you can close your eyes or have a steady gaze as your breath returns to normal. I've got a story to share with you today. The battlefield stretched endlessly before him. Dust swirled in golden clouds, rising from the restless feet of thousands of warriors. The sun burned hot overhead, but inside, Arjuna felt cold. His hands trembled around his bowstring. His breath was shallow. His mind was racing. How could he do this? His cousins, uncles, teachers, family, all stood in the opposing army. Their eyes fierce, their weapons ready. These were not just faceless enemies. These were his people. He turned to Krishna, his charioteer, his guide, his friend. I cannot do this, Arjuna whispered. His voice wavered like a candle in the wind. I cannot fight. My body is weak. My mind is unsteady. How can I move forward when everything I have ever known is crumbling around me? Krishna, ever steady, looked at him with knowing eyes and said, happiness and distress come and go like the seasons. They are not permanent. They arise from your senses, from your mind's perception. The wise do not let them shake their spirit. Stand firm, Arjuna, not because life is easy, but because your true self, your soul, is unshaken beyond all change. Arjuna's heart pounded. The world around him was chaos. He was afraid to step forward, afraid to fall. He looked down at his hands, still trembling, and then to Krishna, so steady, so grounded. But what if I failed? He asked. Krishna smiled. Then you will rise again. The world may shift, but you are eternal. So today, I really want to focus on this idea of remaining grounded, remaining eternal, knowing that if we wobble, if we fall, we will rise again, knowing that we are eternal, that you are eternal. So why don't we take a big good morning stretch wherever you may find yourself on your mats today. Stretching those arms up overhead, stretching those legs out long, And can you grab that block that you've set behind you and just lift it straight up? And I want you to just take a moment holding that block in your hand. And today, this block is going to represent something. This block is going to represent that thing that is always trying to hold you back, that is always keeping you from balance. Today, this block represents whether it be those executive orders, whether it be your place of work, those negative self-talk, whatever it is that is holding you back right now. I want you to grab a hold of that thing and see today just how powerful you are and just how balanced and steady you are, because you have that thing within your control. Perfect. On your next inhale, can we rise up and place that block on our shins, shins out long, sitting up nice and tall. Can we keep just a very slight flex in that foot of ours and begin to press down into that block? And as we press down lightly, can we lift that chest, lifting up our torso and grounding down through our feet? And today, this represents all of that weight. And I want you to just see how easy it is to pick that up and bring it with you as we set up for child's pose. So join me, why don't you? We're going to start by sitting back into our heels. Knees kind of wide, not too wide, but just wide enough. And can you begin like holding that block like a package in front of you with your elbows down, and just extend your elbows out in front of you. Keeping those elbows planted, keeping your hands on that block. Can we begin to slow the breath and really arrive here on this mat? You made it, and I'm proud of you. And as we're here, can we begin to roll our forehead on the ground and really massage that space just above our brow, that third eye space. And as you massage that space, can you allow the excess mind chatter to just gently flow out of the third eye space, giving it back to the universe, giving it back to the earth beneath you. And once all of that mind chatter is gone, you may notice just how easily it is to vividly imagine what that balance looks like for you. What you look like, fully and completely balanced and steady, rooted through yourself. Now this can be a version of you 5 to 10 years from now. This could be a version of you 5 to 10 years ago. Or maybe it's a different version of you altogether. But I want you to really see what it looks like, what it feels like even, to be balanced, to be steady, knowing that you are eternal. No matter what happens, that tries to shake you, what tries to tip the scales, what tries to tip the balance, you know how to grab onto that thing and use it to your advantage, to stay just as balanced, just as grounded, and just as steady as you can be. Perfect. Take 2 more breaths here. And really connect to that version of you. And only when you are fully connected to that version of you, you can join me in a tabletop position. So we are going wrists under shoulders, hands on the ground, knees under hips. What I want you to do first is take any intuitive movements. Maybe you need a little bit of a cat-cow motion. Maybe you need to roll out that torso. Whatever you need today. And once you've taken that, can you come back and meet me back here in this neutral spine tabletop? And can we begin by extending that right leg out and pressing through that heel? Now I want you to look back at that toe, at that foot, and make sure that all 5 of those toes, right where the toes connect to the ball of your foot, make sure that all 5 of them are grounded into that ground, into the earth. Maybe push yourself forward so that you're still in that neutral spine position and just lift up that foot. Now here, I want you to keep that same very, very slight flex in the foot and ever so slightly tilt the pinky toe down so that your hips are staying nice and square. Find your balance here and maybe lift up your gaze so that you're looking just straight down from wherever your head would be in this neutral spine position. If you feel balanced here, can you begin to walk that left hand up as if that block is still in your hand? And as you lift that left hand, can you lift that right leg as well? Keeping nice and square, keeping nice and neutral in that spine. Taking 3 more breaths here. And your next exhale, you can drop that hand, check the alignment of your foot, realign it, and then drop that knee. Fantastic. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Let's start by pushing that left foot out, press through that heel, making sure that all 5 toes are connected down to the earth. Look back at that foot, and then raise it. Keeping that slight flex, so it's like you are stepping on the wall behind you. Gently tipping that pinky toe down, keeping those hips nice and square. Recentering your spine, and beginning to lift up that right arm, as if you were still holding that block. As you lift that right arm, can you lift that left leg? And notice how easy it is to balance here because you're focused on that left hand on the ground. Because you're focused on your breath. Taking 2 more breaths here. And on your next exhale, you can bring that hand back down. Recheck that foot, make sure that it's realigned, and then bring that knee down. Perfect. Move that block out of our way for just a moment. Can we curl those toes and just lift those hips into our first downward facing dog of the day? Welcome. You've made it here. Can we bend those knees to really exaggerate the length from the crown of your head to the base of your spine? Really, I want to get a flat back more than I want a straight leg today. Perfect. Can we come forward on our next inhale to a plank pose and then lower ourselves down all the way to the ground. And let's take a couple of baby cobras using just your shoulder blades. Can you reach your hands out wider than your mat on the tips of your fingers and just roll your shoulder blades back, and using that action, can you lift up on your inhale and lower back down on your exhale. Lift on your inhale and lower on your exhale. Perfect. Can you bring your hands underneath your shoulder and take your full version of a cobra on your next inhale? Perfect. And push back to a tabletop. On your exhale, hands come forward about an inch. Curl those toes, lift back up to a downward facing dog. Again, we're really trying to accentuate that long spine. On your next inhale, can our right leg come up? Keeping our hips nice and square, bend that right knee, step it in between your hands. Drop that back knee, uncurl those back toes, and lift up to this crescent moon shape. And as you breathe in, can you reach through the tips of your fingers? And as you breathe out, can you push into your hips just a little bit? And on your next exhale, can we bring those hands to frame that front foot? Curl those back toes, lift up that back leg, step back, downward facing dog. Perfect. Inhale, plank pose, very slowly. Exhale, drop those knees and lower all the way down to the ground. Let's do the same thing on this side. Can we reach those hands out wider than our mat? And on our inhale, can we just use the rolling back of our shoulders to lift our chest off of the ground? Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, plant. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Perfect. Can you bring your hands back underneath your shoulders and take your fullest version of a cobra on your next inhale? And exhale, can we push back to a downward facing dog? Perfect. Inhale, left leg comes up. Step it between those hands. Uncurl those back toes, drop that back leg. And lift up to a crescent moon shape. Same thing here. Inhale, reach through those fingertips. Exhale and push and sink into those hips just a little bit. And on your next exhale, can we bring those hands to frame that front foot? Lift those back toes, step back, downward facing dog. Now listen, that version of yourself, whether it's in the future, whether it's in the past, whether it's a different version of you altogether. In a moment, we're going to walk forward to a forward fold, but I really want you to be intentional about every small step that you take up to the front of your mat. I want you to imagine yourself stepping into your power, stepping into that version of yourself with every step that you take. Begin to pedal out those feet, bending one knee and then the other. And turn this pedaling to a very slow, mindful walk up to Uttanasana, forward fold. Perfect. Inhale, arms come out, up, and over your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, arms come to your side, Tadasana, mountain pose. Perfect. So, on your next inhale, we're going to go arms out and up, and then exhale, we're going to fold forward. Perfect. Inhale, arms come out and up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, right leg steps back, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up, keeping those hips still square. Step it between those hands. Exhale, left foot meets. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, left leg steps back, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Perfect. Inhale, left leg comes up. Step it between those hands. Exhale, right foot meets the left. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on your shins. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, right leg comes back, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, step it forward. Meet those feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Perfect. Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana. Left leg comes back, low lunge. Right leg meets it, downward facing dog. Plank pose, fill up. Lower all the way down. Cobra. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left leg lifts. Step it between those hands. Meet that front foot. Halfway lift. And lower. Uttanasana. Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana. Right leg back. Low lunge. Downward facing dog. Plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Upward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Now listen. Step those feet together and forward about an inch. Bend your knees. Look forward in between your hands, and with one hop or many, can you make your way in between those hands? Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana. Left leg goes back, low lunge. Right leg meets it, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Plank pose, fill up. Chaturanga Dandasana. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Feet come together and forward about an inch. Bend those knees, look forward, and hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana. Now listen, can we plant those hands, bend those knees, and however you're going to get there, either one hop, mini hop, step back, whatever, can we hop back to a downward facing dog with bent knees? Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Perfect. Drop those knees, child's pose. Sit back. Take this moment for yourself to catch your breath, knowing just how powerful you are. Take your time, but when you're ready, can you push back up into a tabletop, curl those toes, lift those hips, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Perfect. Inhale, right leg lifts. Step it between those hands. Now listen, can we grab that block from the front of our mat? Just set it right in front of our front toes. Plant that back foot. Can we parallel that right foot, that front foot, so that our feet are parallel? Come to this wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now what I want you to do while you're here is I want you to grab that block and put it right on the edge of that front foot, of your right foot. Hands come to your hips. Inhale, lift all the way up. Can our arms come out to a T? And while they do, can we pivot that back foot to be pointed towards the short edge of our mat? Begin to bend into that back knee. And what I want you to do is I want you to focus then on this front leg, the one that is still pointed towards the long edge of your mat. And that block is right on the edge of your foot. Now, we know that with balance, there's lots of little intricacies to really perfecting balance. What I want you to do is I want you to find the edge of that block with your foot and then slightly come off of it so that you're not touching the block anymore, but you're on all four corners of that foot, just millimeters, whatever's smaller than a millimeter, behind that block. Bend that back knee, arms come out to a T. This is warrior two, looking over that back arm. Can we straighten that back leg, parallel our feet? And now what I want you to do is I want you to realize just how easy it is to move any obstacle out of your way by pivoting that front foot so that you hit that warrior two here in the front. Now, same thing with that back foot. Can you be in all four corners of that back foot and still be in all four corners of this front foot? Arms come out to a T. Maybe you pull back through your pinkies, looking over that right arm. And as you breathe in, can you lift a little bit taller through your crown? And as you exhale, can you root a little bit more into those feet? On your next inhale, can we flip that front palm, tilt back, and maybe take this back arm and just bind it behind our back and really feel a side angle stretch and keep that front leg bent. Perfect. Can we come back out to that T? Can we straighten that front foot and begin to reach for that block on the outside of our front foot? Once you've got it on whatever height setting you need, can we have our left hand on our hip and begin to roll that left shoulder back so that we are looking up at the sky before we bring that left arm straight up overhead, still engaging through our feet, knowing that this block, this obstacle that was just in front of you, is now something that you can use to hold on to. And same thing here, as you inhale, can you lift through that left arm? As you exhale, can you root through those feet? On your next exhale, can we cartwheel those arms to frame that front foot? Take a moment here in this low lunge, and then step that right foot back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing. Perfect. Inhale, left leg comes up. Step it between those feet. And I am going to turn around. But again, make sure that that block is in front of that left foot. Can we parallel those feet into this wide-legged forward fold? Bring that block to our left foot. Inhale in this forward fold, halfway lift. Exhale, fold all the way down. Now you may want to grab for opposite elbows. You may want to have your hands on the ground. I'm not going to be picky about where your feet or where your hands are. You do you. Maybe you want to shake your head no. And know that we always end on a positive note, so you can shake your head yes. Perfect. Hands on your hips. Inhale, lift your torso all the way up. Perfect. Can you pivot those back feet, bend that back knee, and then again, bring your attention into that front foot that is up against that block. And again, find the edge, find the balance. So find that full extension of that foot, and then just barely come off of it. Be in all four corners of that foot. Bend through that back knee. Open these arms to a warrior two to the back of your mat. Perfect. Straighten that back knee. Pivot those back toes so that we are in this wide-legged stance. And again, notice how easy it is for you to just move that block, move that obstacle out of your way as you take warrior two to the front. And same thing, make sure that you're still in all four corners of that back foot, all four corners of that front foot, and look over that front arm. Rising with every inhale and rooting with every exhale. Before you flip that front palm, tilt back for a peaceful warrior. Fantastic. Coming back up to that T. Can we straighten that front leg? And again, reach for that block on the outside of that foot. Once you find it at whatever height you need, can we plant that right arm on our hip and begin to roll back in the right shoulder, looking up at the sky before eventually bringing our arm up. Triangle pose. Breathing in, lifting through that arm. Breathing out, rooting through those feet. On your next exhale, can we plant those hands around that front foot? Take a moment here. Really stretch through that hip before stepping back to a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now you can stay here, or if you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge, inhale, plank pose. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Perfect. We're going to start this side a little bit different. So our block should still be kind of in front of us. Inhale, right leg comes up. Step it between those hands. Plant that back foot. But where we're going is we're just going to stand straight up. We're going to keep looking forward. Can we reach for that block? And what I want you to do is I want you to hold that block out in front of you, straight out in front of you. Just bend your elbows so that, again, it's still out in front of you, nice and square to the front of whatever you're looking at. With that front leg still bent, can you bring your hips in line with that block? Maybe you'll need to shorten your stance, widen your stance, whatever you need to do to keep those hips in line with this block. Once you're there, can you begin to extend that block out in front of you again? Bend that front knee. Lift that block up overhead. Warrior one. If you need, you can look up at the block and notice how light it is. Fantastic. Your other block should still be at the front of your mat. That's what we're doing. We're going to bring this block back down on its tallest setting in front of our foot. We'll reach for that other block. We will pivot onto the ball of our back foot and kick up to this supported warrior three, using those blocks to keep our back nice and straight. Now for me, I'm a little tight in my hamstrings, so I'm going to bend that front knee, and as I do, I'm going to check back in that back foot and make sure that my hip is still nice and square. Energetically, that pinky toe is pointing down. And I'm going to extend my neck so it's nice and neutral and look just straight down. Perfect. I'm going to step back with that back foot, bringing one of the blocks to this wide-legged forward fold. You know the drill. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. If you took opposite elbows last time, can you take opposite elbows? Shaking your head, yes. Shaking it, no. We always end on a positive note, so shaking it, yes, again. Perfect. Hands on your hips, inhale. Torso comes all the way up. Turn those back toes, warrior two to the back. Again, focus on what you're focusing on. With that block, take a moment here. You look great. How do you feel? What do you feel? What's coming up for you? Acknowledge it. And as you do, straighten that back leg, parallel those feet, and notice just how easy it is to just lift that front foot and move that obstacle out of your way. So we come to that warrior two at the front of our mat. Maybe pulling back through those pinkies, looking over that front arm, turning that front palm towards the top of the ceiling. Tilt back, peaceful warrior. Now listen, let's go to extended side angle here. So what we'll do to set up is we'll take that right forearm to our right thigh. Again, taking that
hand in our hip, kind of opening up and reaching back like we were shaking somebody's hand behind us and lifting that arm up and overhead. And again, maybe you reach for that block, the outside of that foot. Can you push back to the long edge of your back foot and extend through your fingertips? Fantastic. On your next exhale, hands come to frame that front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes up. Same thing on this side. We're going to step it forward, plant that back foot and just come straight up, reaching for that block. Can we have that block out in front of us? And align our hips with that block. Begin to extend it back out in front of us. Bend that front knee. Lift that block overhead. Look up and notice just how light it is. Perfect. You can bring that block back out in front of you. Set it down. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot and push off and gently walk those blocks forward so that you're in this nice extended warrior 3 pose with the blocks on the ground, keeping you nice and assisted. You look great. Again, I'm bending that front knee so that I can look back at that foot, pivot that pinky toe down, keeping those hips nice and square, and then staying neutral through my spine. And take 2 breaths here. And I'll step that foot back. Bring one of our blocks to set up for that wide-legged forward fold again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold all the way down. Can you reach for your toes? Can you reach behind you? Can you do something different with your arms? Fantastic. Hands on your hips. Inhale. Torso comes all the way up. We will pivot those back toes. Bend that back knee. Warrior 2 to the back. Taking a moment here. Rooting into our power. Finding that edge on our foot. Taking a moment to straighten that back leg. Pivot my back foot. And again, notice just how easy it is to move that obstacle out of our way as we come to a warrior 2 at the front of our mat. Fantastic. Can you turn that palm towards the sky? Tilt back, peaceful warrior. Keeping that knee bent, that front knee bent, we're going to go straight into this extended side angle. Again, we're going to put our right arm on our hip, open up through that shoulder, reach back like we're shaking somebody's hand. Hello, how do you do? And then up and overhead, reaching for that block on the outside of our foot. If you're different on this side, great, so am I. But feel that side body stretch. Feel yourself rooting into your power. And notice that that obstacle, if it's used correctly, if it's under your control like I know that it is, it holds you up. It supports you. Perfect. On your next exhale, can our hands come to frame our front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Perfect. Stay here. Or if you're looking for that challenge, inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way down. Come on all the way down. Can you uncurl those feet? Take a nice big cobra. Fantastic. On your next exhale, can you meet me in a downward facing dog? Awesome. Perfect. So, where we are going next, we are going
to walk forward to a forward fold, taking your time, getting up there however you need to at the front of your mat. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Be still. You've done a lot already today. Notice what it feels like to remain balanced without anything else weighing you down, without anything else getting in your way. Notice what it's like to be balanced just standing here. Take 2 or 3 more breaths. And when you're ready, we'll meet here in Tadasana at the top of our mat. And I want you to really plant through that right foot first. And can we begin by just lifting up that left knee and stay here. Notice what this feels like. Notice how this feels. And if you're more flexy than I am, can you reach for that toe? Stay here if you need. Or can you extend, I can't, but can you extend that foot out for an extended hand to toe pose? If this is where you're at, great, I'm proud of you. Fantastic. From here, can we begin to hinge, sending that foot back, grabbing for our block, and using it as a counterweight. So our hands are still reaching for the ground, but we're using that block as a counterweight for our foot before we step that foot back, straighten that front leg, taking this block on the outside of our left foot, or of our right foot, the foot that was planted. Come back up like you were in to this warrior one. Hit it. I lied. Grab that block. Warrior one. And remember that with any change that you're making, any balance that you're bringing to your life, you have to approach everything with an open heart and through the guise of love. To do so, bend those elbows, bring that block behind your back, and just open up those elbows and point your heart to the sky. Thanking the universe for constantly giving you challenges that you can overcome, giving you the opportunity to grow every single day. Thanking the universe for letting you be exactly who you are. Bring those elbows back together. Lift that block back up. And now set it outside of that front foot, coming back to a straight leg on both of your legs. Can we take that left arm, shoot it in front of us, reach around for that block, bringing our right arm onto our hip. Begin to open up. Look towards the sky. And if this is where you're at, I love that for you. However, can you reach that arm up overhead and tilt back just a smidge, this revolved triangle pose. Perfect. Bring that arm back to the block. Move that block just off to the side. Pyramid pose, fold over, let everything go. Bend that back knee, shoot forward, Uttanasana. Can you have both of those blocks out in front of you? And what we're going to do is we're going to use those blocks again to keep our back nice and straight. But on our inhale, can we bend those knees slightly? And on our exhale, can we just push our hips up? Inhale, bend. Exhale, push. One more time like that. Inhale, bend. Exhale, push. And exhale a little bit deeper and fold all the way down, reaching for those ankles. Perfect. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Be still. Take a moment. Perfect. Now can we root through that left foot? Same thing on this side. As we root through this left foot, can we begin to lift that right knee? And if this is where you're at, great. Proud of you. This is a lot for me even. However, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, can we bring our right hand to curl around our right big toe? If you can you straighten this right leg? And from there, can you unhook, slowly start to tilt back, grab that block, use it as your counterweight to just feel what it feels like to use that obstacle to balance you, tipping the scales ever in your favor before stepping back. Warrior one. The block still in our hand. Again, all you need is love. Can we bend those elbows, shine through your heart, and send love to the universe, to the divine energy, to all that you love? Can we send love to everybody, even those people that you don't necessarily get along with or agree with? Thank them for giving you constant challenges in your life that allow you to grow and overcome. Bring those elbows closer together, arms come up overhead. Bring that block to the outside of your front foot. Straighten both of your legs, stand up nice and tall. Right arm comes out and around. Left arm, left hand to your hip. Begin to open up through those shoulders. And can you lift that left arm up? Revolve to triangle pose. Perfect. Unwind, bringing both hands to that block. Move that block just off to the side. Shift onto the ball of that back foot. Allow that heel to just kind of melt as you melt into this pyramid pose. Let everything go. Let it wash away. Before bending that back knee, stepping forward, having both blocks out in front of you, keeping those blocks as kind of your way to keep your back as straight as possible. And again, can we inhale, bend those knees, exhale, push those hips. Inhale, bend, exhale, push. Inhale, bend, exhale, push. Exhale a little bit more and fold all the way down, reaching for the backs of your feet if you can reach them. Fantastic. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Let's grab our blocks. Main event. Let's go into a nice Warrior 3 using this thing that's always tried to hold you back. Whatever this was, use it to your advantage. So in our Tadasana, with our block on our hand, hold it just in front of your heart. First, thank it for giving you that challenge. Then, root through that right foot, lift that left knee, and begin to hinge again using that block as that counterweight. And if you're comfortable here, stay here. However, if you can you lift that block slowly up overhead? You can bend through that front knee, and as you lift that block, can you lift that leg as well? And to come out of this, we'll bring that block back down as our counterweight, up to our chest, and hinge back up, and plant that foot. We could do the same thing on the other side, at your own pace, wherever you are. Take your time. Holding that block in our hands, thanking it for giving you the challenges to overcome, lifting that right knee, hinging back, using that block as your counterweight, before slowly
Lifting it up overhead. And as you lift it overhead, can you lift that back leg and come out of it the same way that you came into it? Fantastic. Take a moment. Try that out. When you're ready, come back to a Tadasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. However you want to get back to a downward facing dog, dealer's choice. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way down. Perfect, grab for that block as we hit one final pose before we cool down. Just like we had the block out in front of us, can we let the block back behind us still like that present for this locust pose? So we begin by lifting up our chest and allowing our feet to lift. So can we lift our block, lift our feet, lift our chest? Shalabhasana, locust pose. Take a couple of breaths here. And lower. Head comes to one side. Take a moment. And let's do it one more time. Lifting that block, lifting your chest, lifting your legs. Looking up, gaze comes up. Breathe here. And on your next exhale, can you come down? Head comes over to the other side. Perfect, you can move that block off over to the side. Thank it for all of the work that it's done. Push up to a tabletop. Cross those shins. Sit on down. Scoot yourself forward. Plant your feet. Lower your back all the way down. Can we curl our hands under our mat? Bring those heels as close to our butt as possible. And pressing through the heels, can we begin to lift that chest or the hips? And can we externally rotate those shoulders to get a little bit more lift in this bridge? And now this does advance to a wheel pose if you want to bring your hands to your ears and lift up. Take 2 more breaths here. Before slowly lowering shoulders, upper back, middle back, lower back. You can bring your arms back to your side. Keeping those knees bent, can you just drop them over to the left? Extend your arms into a T and adjust your shoulders so that they're nice and flat on the ground. Maybe you want to look over your right side or your left. Dealer's choice. Can we come back up through center? Plant those feet back on the ground. Readjust so that you are ready to just drop those knees over to the right. Arms come out to that T. Readjust your shoulders so they are nice and flat on the ground. Looking over that left shoulder. Allowing this twist to wring out the last 1 or 2 drops of that gunk that was holding you back. Fantastic. Come back through middle. Readjust and bring your right leg, your right knee into your chest. Extend out long in front of you that left leg. And stay here. Or if you need a little bit of extra love, can we straighten that right leg up, switch our grip behind that right leg and just lifting our shoulders and our head and our chest, keeping everything else planted, can we just begin to bring our nose to our knee? And release that. Bring that left knee into your chest. Right leg comes out long. You can stay here. Or again, if you need a little extra love, begin to straighten that left leg and pull yourself up to your nose to knee. Keeping that right leg still out in front of you. Perfect. Let that go. Take whatever other intuitive movements you may need. Maybe you bring your knees into your chest and rock back and forth, or you make little circles with your knees. Maybe you need some windshield wipers. Whatever you need before setting up for your final Shavasana. For that, can we just extend our legs out long? Can we, same thing with our shoulders, kind of just make sure that they're nice and flat on the ground. Let's shine our palms up towards the sky today, connecting to the energies of the universe and feeling what it feels like. As you breathe in, allowing that front body to lift up towards the sky. As you breathe out, allowing that back body to release and surrender to be held by the floor. On your inhale, you're being held by the universe. On your exhale, you're being held by Mother Earth. Let's take 3 deep breaths here in through your nose. Sigh out your mouth. And notice with your exhale that everything just lets go a little bit. In through your nose. Sigh it out. One more time, in through your nose. And allow yourself to close your eyes and surrender as you sigh it out your mouth. Now, I'm going to invite you to stay here as long as possible. I'm going to cut off the recording, but I'm going to play some music so you can have a full, long Shavasana. Thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you on your mat next time.